enough as we needed to a little bit. Today was that first day where we went primarily scout team. And so there's a lot of organization to that. You know, a lot of guys get a little disappointed too, and then all of a sudden they've gone from running our defense to now they got to run Michigan's defense, and it's totally different. So you got to card some of it. You know, you get a short film session, but a lot of organization today, so it's a little slower. Don't get quite as many reps, not quite as competitive. That'll get better, but that's the beauty of having this week and, you know, not playing a game the first week of school. You start with the scout teams. You get a whole week kind of get all that worked out. But I thought Mason, Alex, and Raheem all threw the ball well in one-on-one drill today against our defensive guys and in Skelly. And then we did have a little team run play-action pass, which we missed one throw in there, I think. We hit the other. So, you know, pretty good day. It'll be a pretty easy film session tomorrow for them.
Do you think that you are going to kind of go the route that you did with Holton, where he's the guy, or are you going to mix them in?
Well, there's just not a set pattern for that, because what we got to do is just got to play the game, try to win the game, you know. And, again, it's a long season. The opener's obviously always important. This is a huge game. I think they're ranked pretty high or something like that, maybe number 2 in most publications. As I'd said earlier today to somebody, I think they're the winningest college program ever. You know, I think Michigan's got more wins than anybody. So we got a lot of respect for all that. We got to go up and try to play well. So we're going to do whatever it takes. I mean, if we got to put a pinch hitter in, you know what I'm saying? We got to bring somebody out of the bullpen. We're willing to do that. I would prefer to have that starter, and I'd rather have that guy like Holton, you know, like everybody would. But, you know, I don't know that Holton was that when he first got here either. He had to earn that. And Mason and Alex are just great team players, and they want to win most of all, and they want the team to do well. And right now they've earned the right to play, but they haven't earned the right to, you know, have a couple bad series in there or a couple bad games if you got somebody else capable. So I think I've tried to explain to them it's good that you've got someone else that can help you. You don't have to do this all by yourself. You know, eventually I hope one of them will. And I don't know at what point that is. There's just not any book or any formula that says this is the way you do it. We'll just play to win the game and whatever it takes. And I don't know. That's the part that makes you a little nervous, makes you a little anxious, but it's also the part that's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Christmas. You don't really totally know what you got till you get down there. So
two guys that came in last year's transfers, Camaro Edmonds and Jarrett Garner, we haven't talked about it a lot. They seem to be getting better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, Camaro's had a great camp. He really has. He's one fumble away from really having an outstanding camp. He had a couple good runs today too, so he continues to fit into the system a little bit better. You know, the room it's deep, but we all know that it can happen quickly. You know, I was saying today, you know, we start off the year like, okay, how you going to keep Raji happy? How you going to keep Keaton happy? You know, another back, and then all of a sudden you look up and South Florida, Keaton can't go, so it's Raji, you know what I'm saying? And then you got a true freshman. And then all of a sudden Raji don't get up at the end of the game. They card him off, and now, you know, it's a true freshman going to Tulane who ended up being number 10 in the country. And down there, Keaton tries to play, but he's not very effective, and we didn't want to hurt him for the rest of the year, you know what I'm saying? So we're behind. But Marlon's playing well. Then Marlon gets hit in the leg, and he can't go. So all of a sudden now you're throw every play, and, you know, they know you're going to throw. Well, I wish we had more running backs. So now I'm glad we got them. Now you got to keep them happy, but it just seems to work itself out. And Camaro's going to play in special teams. He's going to help the team in other ways. He can be a return guy. So it's a long season. Nobody takes more of a pounding than the running backs. It's tough, even if they're running the guys over, they're still taking shots. You know, when you're blocking, you're taking shots. So I'm glad we got good depth there. We don't want to overdo Raji, I don't think, really early in the year. We're not going to try to win the conference championship, you know, at Michigan. We're going to try to win that game, but we're going to try to be smart about that. So the depth's good. JG, I tell you what, he's had a good camp too. He's in the thick of that. You know what I'm saying? His name probably doesn't come up as much as maybe it should be. I think if you ask him, he would think he's in it. And right now, there's not anybody there that's established. We've had good practices. We've bragged a lot about Jari, but Jari still hadn't done it in a game yet. He knows that too. So we're going to roll them all, try to keep them fresh. Early in the year, that's a good thing. I don't know, I lived in Michigan for 2 years, and so I don't know that it will be very hot. I mean, they have great summers. Both weeks up there in summer is great, So hopefully it's nice and cool. But I know when we get back home, the Marshall game, we'll probably be really, really hot. So it'd be nice to have some receivers to roll in there too and have a lot of fresh legs.
Coach, noticed that King isn't wearing the red shirt anymore.
Yeah.
What have you seen out of him? What do you hope to see out of him?
Well, he is out of the red shirt, and that has helped us a lot to evaluate him. And again, he's one of those guys, the Chase and Keelan and Jarrett and Ryan, they're all kind of built alike. They're all kind of the same type player, same type of ability. And one of them's going to push ahead. One of them's going to get in the game, and it's going to be like, yeah, this is the guy. It's sometimes it's hard to separate those guys in practice. I think the game's going to do that. Ryan has been, just a little unlucky. He was having a great spring game. He was kind of starting to show that, and then he got re-injured, so he was out all summer, and so he missed all that period, and he missed most of preseason camp as far as the full contact part. Which it's one thing to catch a ball over the middle and get tagged or not get touched, and another one to get hit a little bit too. So we're going to need a game to see, and but it's a thick group. We're going to take them all. They're all going to play in special teams as well, so they'll be involved in the game at some point. We'll see how it goes though.
I've got a tight end question for Bryce Williams. If you go 12 personnel, who's the other tight end with Shane Calvin?
Right now, I think probably Antonio Ferguson has got the leg up there, but it's very, very close. We got 2 freshmen that have just amazed me that they are this ready to go. Now, again, they haven't played in a game. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Savage is out for a while. We hope to get him back here in about a month, I guess. He was telling me today he's going to be back next week, but I think he might have been just optimistic about that a little bit and making sure I still remembered who he was. But that's who it'd be right now, Antonio Ferguson. I think all 3 of those guys will play. And we'll need them all to play too. We actually may even play an offensive lineman in at tight end in some blocking situations, okay, like that. He'd have an eligible number, obviously, so I won't say who right now and give the scouting report totally away. Thank you, Bryce.
Speaking of offensive line here, how has that kind of dynamic been, new coach and a bunch of new guys?
Well, I think it's the last piece to kind of get polished out a little bit. We've worked hard to move some guys around. You've got to have more than one center because, if something happens to the center, you got to be able to make the exchange. Even if it wasn't shotgun, if it was under, snapping is still a different thing than all the other 4 offensive line positions. So we've worked a lot of guys there. Coach Mulgridge and myself and Coach Houston, we've sat around and had so many personnel meetings. And, the first thing you finally get it down to, okay, well, who's the best 5? Who's the best 5 you can put out there? And sometimes it's a little bit like basketball. It's not just you can't put 5 guards out there. You can't put 5 centers out there. So, have to be a little bit like you have to be a tackle. One of them, somebody has to be able to center it. But all things considered, who are the best 5? And then you're like, okay, who's the best 6? So if this guy went down, how would you do it? So we have moved some people around. Luckily, some of these guys are pretty versatile like that. Hampton Ergel had played tackle until about, I guess, mid-season last year. We moved him to center, played a little bit, then got started in the bowl game. So all of a sudden he became a center. But he's been a tackle, so he's having to play both a little bit. Jacob Sacre is the same way. He's played guard, he's played center, so he's doing that. So I think we still have another week before I really think, I was telling Coach Mulgridge, by next Sunday, we need to try to trot the same 5 out there together as much as we can because there is some continuity in working together and communication with those guys. But it's probably still the piece that I know the least about of all the positions is how that's going to play out. Coach Mulgridge is going to earn his paycheck, I can tell you that.
Anything else, Coach? All right,
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.